All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number one. We'll see Giancarlo and Adam Barker on the front row. Max Gunther, Simon Zierk on the second row. Mike Dolling, Ronnie Wimberly on the third row, and Harry Volsmere will round out the 7-car field. With the 7-car field here this morning, if all 7 drivers take to the grid, wherever they finish, race 2 will see a full field invert, so the winner will start at the back. Track temperature has actually dropped about 3 degrees from qualifying. And it does look like Harry Volsmere will not make the grid. Hopefully, Harry will get a start from pit road. Always great to see Harry on track, and man, can he charge through a field. Giancarlo in the purple Ferrari, Adam Barker in that Hello Kitty Ferrari. The BMWs on the second row, Mike Dolling in the Conliff Esports car with Simon in the blue and black. What in the world? Now, Mike Dolling will start on the third row next to Ronnie Wimberly. Ronnie has been away, as we mentioned, quite a while. Great to see him back on track. Hopefully we can see him get to victory lane here this morning. And it does not appear that Ronnie is live this morning, but you can definitely go to his Twitch, Facebook, or his YouTube at Quad Racing. See a lot of great racing from a very impressive driver. Road America just over 4 miles long, 14 turns, some big straightaways. Those Ferraris will have an advantage on the straightaway, but as we mentioned earlier, the Ferraris seem to be struggling in the turns this morning. The Porsche of Max Gunther, we've mentioned it all season, does not have the straight line speed. Could be a huge disadvantage here, but he will beat him through the turns. The BMW appears to be the most balanced car of the group. Could we see Simon Zierk or Mike Dolling back in victory lane today? Down through the final turns. through the final turn. The Porsche pace car will hit pit road here in a moment, and they will go green flag racing. Porsche pace car is in. They come up the hill. Giancarlo is fired. They are away. Green flag is in the air at Road America. Giancarlo just shot out to the lead. Now looks like Simon looking to the inside. Battling with Max for third. The top two Ferraris. Single file for the moment, but wow, Simon and Max really going at it. Max comes out of the turn. We mentioned the handling advantage of the Porsche. It just showed. Mike Dolling in fifth. Ronnie still hanging with the group in sixth place. They go single file halfway through the first lap. Oh, Barker goes way wide. Max Gunther in third, Simon Zierk in fourth, Dolling in fifth, Ronnie in sixth. Max coming through the carousel, looked to the inside on Barker, didn't have enough of a run. Likely going to lose some ground here down the straightaway. But that right-hander at the end of the straightaway, Max should be able to close a little bit of ground. Simon Zierk back in fourth. Remember, the BMW appears to be the most balanced. It has been able to run drivers down. It does have quite a bit of power. Oh, Giancarlo goes wide in turn one. Speaking of Giancarlo at turn one, last year in one of the races, Giancarlo, lap one, turn one here at Road America, got too far to the inside, clipped the grass, spun around, was over 20 seconds behind, charged up to the field, went through them, and won the race by almost 10 seconds. One of the best comeback runs we have ever seen. Ronnie Wimberly has come by Mike Dolling to take fifth. Max looking to the inside through the carousel once again. Couldn't get there. But can he wear Adam down enough to get to the inside? Giancarlo starting to pull ahead. Now has a 1.4 second lead on that battle for second place. Oh, Simon went way wide back behind. Did not get counted as an off-track. Simon definitely pushing the track limits here, trying to make up some ground. Max lurking right on the back bumper of Barker's Ferrari. but lost a lot of ground. Adam Barker just set the fastest lap. Max definitely lost some ground in turn one. A bit of a surprise with that. Simon Zierk, in fact, has gotten back to Max's back bumper. As second, third, and fourth continue to battle, and back behind, Mike Dolling is battling with Ronnie. Does not look like Harry Volsmere will be joining for race. Whoa! Ronnie has a problem. He goes off track, gathers it back up. Nice save. Ronnie still in the fight, less than a second behind Dolling. Meanwhile, Giancarlo out front. His lead now 2.3 seconds over Barker. Max Gunther, after turn one, lost that ground, has not been able to pull back up to the bumper of the Ferrari. Simon Zierk, losing a little bit of ground a moment ago, is now within Mike Dolling and Ronnie Wimberly's striking distance. Let's take another look at Ronnie's incident and look at Simon's. There's Ronnie in the blue Ferrari, and just on corner exit, oh, he just grabbed some grass. Gets sent off, but quickly recovers. Simon Zierk just ahead, trying to run down Max. Oh, just overshoots the turn, but gathers it up, gets going again. Giancarlo just set the fastest lap of the morning, 2:05.55. That has also extended his lead to 2.6 seconds over Adam Barker. Max Gunther is starting to close back up on Barker's bumper through the carousel. He has gained a lot of ground every lap. Simon Zierk has pulled back a little time away from Mike Dolling and Ronnie Wimberly. Max has gotten back to the bumper on Barker. Max trying to stay in the slipstream down the straightaway. Helps offset the lack of straight line speed if he can stay in the draft. Simon back and forth, trying to close up the time he lost. Is 3.6 seconds back, but he is gaining little by little on Max and Adam. Mike Dolling has put some breathing room between him and Ronnie Wimberly, 5th and 6th. Ronnie now 1.4 seconds behind. Oh, Barker goes a little bit wide. Max is right there to his bumper. All the Ferrari drivers prior to the green flag we're talking about, this car struggles with the turns here this morning. Does not seem to be bothering Giancarlo though. Max Gunther this time back in the slipstream of Adam Barker. As they head off into turn one, let's see if Max loses ground this time. He does not. Meanwhile, Giancarlo up front has a 2.9 second lead over Adam now. Simon Zierk was closing the gap on Adam and Max, but has now slipped back 4.3 seconds behind that battle. And Mike Dalling has his hands full again. Ronnie Wimberly has caught back up to him. Ronnie had a little peek to the inside there. No run yet for the Ferrari of Ronnie Wimberly, but he is looking. And he may have the advantage down the straightaway here. Ronnie not making a move yet, did not set up to make a turn or a run into the right-hander. Looked like Adam might have got a little squirrely coming out of that final turn that time. Into the first turn though, Adam still has half a second, just a few car lengths on Max. Simon Zierk back and forth, not gaining any ground. Here we go. Ronnie looks to the inside on Dalling. Does not have the momentum quite yet. Max Gunther still right on the bumper of Adam Barker, but has not been able to make a move yet. And Giancarlo just out front. He has pulled to a 3.4 second lead as Ronnie is side by side with Dalling. And Ronnie Wimberly moves into fifth. And looks like he is already starting to open a gap on Dalling. Giancarlo up front, out for a Sunday cruise at the moment. Remember, going into race 2, there will be a full field invert. Max Gunther still right there on Barker's back bumper. But only a couple of laps left to go in race one. He's gonna have to attack soon. Mike Dolling has gotten back past Ronnie. There's Ronnie just ahead. Goes into the right-hander, goes a little bit wide through the grass. Dolling able to get back by. Giancarlo's lead now just over 4 seconds. Max still sitting right on Barker's back bumper. Ronnie lost some ground on Dolling, is trying to close back up. Ronnie about 1.5 seconds back. Max Gunther right behind in third, still trying to find a way past Barker. But he is running out of time. He is going to have to attack soon. Ronnie Wimberly back behind is still sitting back in 6th, trying to close the gap. Mike Dolling just ahead, 1.8 seconds. Giancarlo's lead now almost 4.5 seconds. Max is starting to look. He outbrakes him into the left-hander. Up the hill, Max has the nose ahead into the almost had some contact between the two. Max Gunther finally makes the move into second. Adam Barker now lurks in third. Simon did gain a little bit of ground as they were side by side, but not enough to close in and battle for second and third. And Max actually starting to pull away from Barker now. Simon back and forth is gaining ground. Could the tires on Barker's car have given up already? And I do believe I see Barney waving the white flag. Max Gunther has already opened up a 1.25 second gap on Adam Barker. Simon back and forth is actually gaining a lot of ground. He has gained over a second on Adam, but too late in the race. Meanwhile, Giancarlo has extended his lead over 6 seconds. Max Gunther currently running in second, Barker in third, Simon Zierk in fourth, Mike Dolling in fifth, Ronnie Wimberly in sixth. As Giancarlo comes through the final turns, Giancarlo into the last turn. He'll head up the hill. And at the top of the hill, he sees the checkered flag fly. Giancarlo wins race 1 at Road America. Max Gunther coming home in second, and Adam Barker finishes third. And they celebrate. You have to wonder how their teams feel about it when they do this. Wow! Giancarlo's left rear was just pointed down. Well, let's talk to our top 3, starting with Adam Barker. Adam, you're on the podium. You maintained the points lead, but man, you had quite a handful there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. This, especially for the main one, because it's a long race and it's really hot out. Luckily, it's cooling down a little bit, and the tires really aren't liking the temperature. So hopefully, we can keep them alive.
You were able to hold Max off until pretty late in the race. Were your tires just giving up at that point?
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit, just me not really performing in the car as well. So really got to keep my head down and see what I can do from the start on the next race.
Well, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Max Gunther coming home in second. Max, you get another podium, and after not being here this week, you come out and really make that Porsche fly.
Yeah, I love the Porsche around this track especially. It's not the fastest in the straight. You can see that versus the Ferraris, but it makes it up in the twisty bits.
It definitely did. It was obvious that going through, especially through the carousel, you were right there on Adam's bumper.
Yeah. He has to go slow through there, really. Really slow. So, yeah. Ferrari is just. I think Giancarlo said you have 2 laps of tires and then you can't turn anymore. On that track. So yeah.
Well, it didn't seem to faze him, but great job and good luck in race 2, buddy.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
And finally, our winner, Giancarlo. Giancarlo, I heard this rumor that after 2 laps, the Ferrari just won't turn.
That's a fair. You get 1 to 2 laps of actual turning once the tires have heated up, and then you just drive straight.
And yet you walked away with a 6-second gap when you won.
I think I got quite lucky that Adam and Max got a little touchy, or something happened behind me to lose them some time.
You were still pulling away right from the word go. It was definitely another dominant performance.
Yeah, appreciate it. But second race is always the interesting one. So we'll try to make it work.
Will we see sweep number 3 of the season?
Who knows? It's a long race. It's 50 minutes. The tires overheat, and it's going to be a wild one. So we'll do our best.
Well, good luck and congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Well, Giancarlo, talking about those front tires really heating up. The car does not want to turn at all. You see several of the drivers out practicing getting to pit road here. This is actually an easy pit road to get onto, but it's getting as much speed as possible before you have to get on the brakes to get down to pit road speed. As we mentioned, as we go into race 2, the field will invert. That'll put Ronnie Wimberly starting up front next to Mike Dawling. And hopefully Ronnie can hold on to the lead for the race. As we mentioned, check him out on Quad Racing on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Go watch one of his Nürburgring races. You'll be extraordinarily impressed. Warm-up is over. It's time to go racing. All right, here we go for race number 2. It should be Harry Volsmere, but I don't think he is going to be in the race. So it'll be Ronnie Wimberly and Mike Dawling on the front row, Simon Zierk, Adam Barker on the second, Max Gunther and Giancarlo rounding out the field. After winning race number 1 in dominant fashion, Giancarlo will have to come from behind once again. He has already swept both races twice this season. Once at Brands Hatch and last week at Imola. Can he make it 3 this season and 2 in a row? And it does not look like Ronnie is gritting. So it'll be Mike Dawling and Simon Zierk on the front row. Adam Barker and Max Gunther on the second row. Giancarlo back in 5th. And Simon Zierk may have just lost connection. Does appear Simon has lost connection. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in. If he can get back in before the end of the pace lap, he could start from pit road. Would not be too far behind. And quite a bit of a shakeup here early in the race. Ronnie Wimberly not gridding. Simon Zierk losing connection. Definitely shaking things up quite a bit. On their pace lap, watching closely to see if Simon makes it back in time. Down the back straightaway, Simon has not made it in yet. Still a few turns, a little bit of track to go. As they head toward the final turn, looks like they may start single file here. It's definitely going to make things a lot easier for Giancarlo. Fewer cars to come through to get back to the front. Pace car is in. Dolling hits the top and green flag is in the air. Simon just getting to pit road. Simon on his way out. That was close timing. He moves over as they have the momentum. Through turn one, the two BMWs side by side. Simon looks like he might be struggling to get the car going. Mike Dolan quickly pulls away, gets some breathing room. Adam Barker, Simon Zierk side by side. Max Gunther, Giancarlo side by side behind. Max pulls ahead through the turn. Mike Dolling, meanwhile, trying to open up a gap. He's got about 1.5 seconds over Barker, who just took second from Simon. Max Gunther now in third. Simon now in third as, Max peeked in. Couldn't get the inside on Simon into the turn. Mike Dolling heads to the top of the hill. He will lead lap one, but his 1.5 second lead is shrinking Adam Barker is closing in. Scoring should update on the next lap. Simon Zierk is actually in third at the moment. But Max Gunther lurking right behind. And you heard him say that Porsche really good in the twisty bits here. And that's where they are headed. Oh, Simon way wide. Max has a run. Max gets to the inside, but now will be on the outside through the carousel. Oh! That got a little bit close there. Giancarlo moving into the mix. And Max Gunther pulls ahead into third. Giancarlo goes through the open door to take fourth. Meanwhile, Mike Dolling's lead has shrunk dramatically. Barker now to his bumper. Max Gunther, Giancarlo, Simon Zierk all nose to tail, third, fourth, and fifth. But 2.3 seconds behind that lead battle at the moment. Barker looking to the outside into turn one. Couldn't get around. A gutsy move going to the outside in turn one, but couldn't make it work. Will he get the run as they go down the hill? And he looks to the outside again. Side by side, and Dolling outbreaks him. Ooh, close. Almost had a little contact there. Meanwhile, back behind, Max Gunther, Giancarlo, and Simon Zierk have gained some ground. They are now 1.5 seconds back. This is where the Ferrari has the advantage with the straight line speed. Can he make it work going into the next turn? Not there yet. Max Gunther and Giancarlo now 1.1 seconds back, gaining on the top two. Barker still in the bumper. Giancarlo now into third. Max Gunther in fourth, and Simon Zierk has lost a bunch of ground. Let's see what happened. There's Simon as they head down toward turn one. Just looked like he completely missed the braking point. Goes wide through the sand. quickly recovers but lost a lot of ground. Adam hunting again as Giancarlo and Max have caught back up. Giancarlo and Max now in the mix. This could get really interesting really quickly. Simon Zierk now 4.8 seconds behind that lead battle, but if they start fighting, he could close that gap quickly. Remember, in race 1, he was gaining ground on old tires. Giancarlo now right on the bumper of Adam. He's going to look to the high side. Adam moves to block, and Adam goes for the lead. Oh, contact! Doling has just slammed the wall. Adam slips back into third. Giancarlo has taken the lead. Looking down from the blimp into turn 1, and the trees get in the way. Adam gets the run on the high side. Oh, Doling pushes out a little bit. Slams both walls, hard contact, and it looks like he has towed it in. Mike Doling apparently had significant damage to the car. He is towed to pit road. Giancarlo already starting to pull away from Max. Adam Barker right on Max. Question is, does not look like Adam has any damage to the left front. The left front of his car looks okay after the contact with Doling. And Mike Doling is officially retired. It is now down to a four-car battle. Giancarlo, Max Gunther, Adam Barker, and Simon Zierk. Simon is still losing ground to the top three. Giancarlo's gap holding at 0.7 of a second, but they are more than 2 laps in now. That Ferrari does not have a lot of grip, but the Porsche of Max Gunther definitely has some. Giancarlo so far unable to break away like he did in race 1. Max and Adam all still within striking distance. Now they do have to make a pit stop during this race. Could one of the Ferraris possibly undercut, get the fresher tires, and get away? Don't forget tonight, 7:30 Eastern, BRR Cup Series is back. Followed shortly at 9:30 Eastern by SMR Gen 4 Series. Man, what a series that has been. The lone Porsche's lap time still holding about equal to the Ferrari of Giancarlo. Meanwhile, Adam Barker back in third is starting to lose ground on the top two. Simon Zierk, after his early issues, still about 5.5 seconds back. Giancarlo said, especially with the temperature, these tires heat up and just completely go away. The track temperature has dropped yet again. Track temperature now 87. 9 degrees cooler than race 1. Could be giving those Ferraris a little more grip and a little bit longer tire life. As Giancarlo set the fastest lap last time by 2:05.43. Max Gunther set his fastest lap, but it was still 0.3 of a second slower than the Ferrari. Adam Barker back in third, continuing to lose ground, now 2.3 seconds back. Simon about 5.3 back from Barker. He is gaining a little bit, but will it be enough? Giancarlo's lead now just over 1.5 seconds. Looking at the times, last time by, Giancarlo still extraordinarily fast, 205.49, half a second faster than Max. Also noting Simon Zierk was almost a quarter second faster than Barker. If he can maintain that pace, he could close back up for a battle for third. And there is no telling what will happen with pit strategy this morning. We know the Ferraris will take tires, but will the Porsche? And will the BMW of Simon Zierk take tires? Max Gunther does gain some ground through the turns, but once they hit the straightaway, the straight line speed of the Ferrari just dominates. Adam Barker back in third, now almost 4 seconds behind the top two. Simon now just over 5 seconds behind. He continues to be the faster of the two cars and continues to close the gap. Max Gunther, whoa! You can tell he is still pushing to that Porsche's limit, trying to close back up on Giancarlo. We did mention this will be Giancarlo's third sweep of the season. Max Gunther also had 2 sweeps earlier in the season. He won both races at Fuji and Daytona. Max Gunther, now well and truly out of the slipstream of the Ferrari, is 2.1 seconds back, but has a 4.1 second gap on Adam Barker. And last time by, Simon lost a ton of ground. Simon now 5.25 seconds back behind. He is starting to regain some ground. At one point, he was almost 6 seconds behind Barker. As we approach the halfway point, pit stops will start appearing. And those stops likely to tell the tale. Adam Barker sitting back in third. It pulled back away a little bit from Simon. That gap now back down to about 5.1 seconds. The tire wear and the loss of front grip on that Ferrari definitely seemed to be coming into play later in the run. However, it does not seem to be affecting Giancarlo at all. His lead now 3.1 seconds. Last time by, he was a full second faster than Max. And Simon has started to chip away at the gap on third place. Adam Barker once again is now 4.7 seconds behind. And now, oh! Simon almost having a problem there. And that little bobble, the loss of momentum, everything he had gained is now on Adam, has now gone. Giancarlo at the halfway point. He'll stay out. Max Gunther is coming in. Bit of a surprise. Expected to see the Ferraris in first. Adam Barker stays out to take second. Simon will go to third. Will Max take tires? He is up. He is going to take tires. Max is back out and on fresh tires. The question now is how much ground can he gain on Giancarlo before Giancarlo goes in for fresh tires? Adam Barker in second has extended his gap over Simon to 5.8. But Max Gunther out there all alone with fresh tires. Can he make up time? Can he make up enough time to catch up to, here we go, Giancarlo as he's on pit road. Adam Barker is in as well. And Simon's going to bring it in. Max now has to attempt to get all he can here. It is a long, slow pit road here at Road America. but I don't know if it's long enough and slow enough for him to make up the distance. Giancarlo is up for tires. Barker up for tires. And Simon will get tires. Giancarlo on his way out. Max coming over the top of the hill. And Giancarlo clears into turn 1. Max comes out in second. Barker comes out third. Simon Zierk comes back out in fourth, but he has gained almost 2 seconds on Barker. He is gaining even more ground on Barker. He is now 1.4 behind. And after the exchange of stops, Giancarlo now has an 8.5 second lead over Max. And Adam Barker has a mirror full of Simon Zierk's BMW. Simon about 1.8 seconds back and gaining at the moment. We know Simon will reel him in over the long run, but now has an opportunity to close that gap. But remember, the Ferrari does have a couple of good laps here where it can turn really well before the tires just give up. Max Gunther just set the fastest lap of the morning. 2:05.23, 0.2 of a second faster than Giancarlo's fastest lap. The gap, though, still 8.8 seconds. He is going to have to push it even harder than that. Meanwhile, Adam Barker has started to pull away from Simon. Yet again, that gap 2.3 seconds. Remember, on the long run, Simon is the faster car. The Ferrari having all sorts of problems with the front tires. Giancarlo still 8.7 seconds ahead. After the pit stops, he really closed the gap. Adam Barker in third, 9 seconds behind Max Gunther. Simon now 3.6 seconds back in fourth. Mike Dolling obviously out after that early wreck. And don't forget, still a lot of racing to go here today. BRR Cup Series at 7:30 Eastern. And then the SMR Gen 4 series shortly after that. And Giancarlo set the fastest lap last time by 2:05.18, opening the gap on Max Gunther to 9.3 seconds. Adam Barker also setting faster laps now. He is pulled out to 4.25 seconds over Simon. The Porsche definitely has the long run handling advantage, but I don't think it will matter. Let's take a lap around with our leader Giancarlo as he crosses the start finish line heading toward turn 1. On the brakes as late as possible into the right-hander. Carries some momentum off into the second turn. Down to the apex, back on the power, going as wide as possible. Long downhill straightaway into the 90-degree left-hand turn. Set up wide, hit the apex, come out wide. Back uphill into another left-hander. Easy to overshoot that turn. He nails it perfectly into the right-hander. Another left-hand turn, then into the right-handed carousel. Looked like he set up a little bit wide there. Feathers it back on the power. Into the right-hand kink. Then back to full throttle. All the way down the straight. Into this right-hander, we see so many drivers overshoot this turn. Into the last few turns. Through the final turn, the right-hander points it up the hill. And back across the start-finish line. He did that lap in 2:05.82. Max Gunther had a bit of an off a moment ago and lost even more ground. Oh, Max just goes way wide out of the turn, but does not have a dramatic impact. He did lose some momentum and is now 10.5 seconds back. Adam Barker in third, about 9.1 seconds back. And Simon Zierk in fourth, about 5.6 seconds back. Despite the tire wear issues that we heard about from the Ferrari drivers, Giancarlo is still pulling away. Max Gunther now 10.8 seconds back. Barker now just over 9 seconds back in third. Simon in fourth has lost even more ground. He is now 6.5 seconds back. That first run before the pit stops, Simon was gaining ground on Adam, but after pit stops, he was much, much closer, but has continued to lose ground in the late stages of this race. Two more races left to go this season. Next week we'll be at Hockenheim. And then to finish the season off in 2 weeks at Algarve. Right now, Adam Barker has the points lead. And as he runs right now, Barker will extend that points lead a bit more over Simon Zierk in second. Giancarlo continues to set some blistering laps around here. "103 miles an hour as he comes up the hill. Carrying just a ton of momentum through there. Surprisingly, not really seeing him slow down anywhere on track. Last time by was a 205.59. Obviously, the cooler track temperatures really helping. Down toward the kink. 150. Tops out at 159 through there. Will he beat that down the front stretch? Through that final turn, back onto full throttle. 120 as he starts up the hill, continues to accelerate. And 160 miles an hour before getting on the brakes. Max Gunther back in second, now 12.5 seconds back. Adam Barker in third, 9 seconds back. And Simon still losing ground in fourth, now 7.6 seconds back. Adam Barker had a brief off track a moment ago, has not impacted his speed or time at all. Giancarlo just a few laps away from his third sweep of the season. And Adam Barker just a few races away from his, I believe, 5th championship. Giancarlo's lead now 13.3 seconds over Max. Max now has a 9.25 second gap on Barker in third. Barker is pulled out to 8.25, now 8.5 seconds over Simon. Giancarlo heading through the final turn, likely will see the white flag this time. Nope, no white flag yet from Barney, so they will get one to go next time by. Everybody fairly well spread out throughout the field. You're likely looking at the finishing order for the race, unless something very dramatic happens. It was great to see Ronnie Wimberly back out on track this morning. Again, if you haven't already, check out Quad Racing on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Giancarlo's lead continuing to grow. And it looks like all the gaps between the remaining drivers are getting bigger. White flag is in the air one more time around for Giancarlo. Another dominant performance this morning. Adam Barker will have another podium this morning, and as we mentioned, extend his points lead even further. Max Gunther rides in second, Barker in third, Simon back in fourth. Due to the smaller field sizes, points gained this week are not going to be as dramatic as what they normally would be. Giancarlo up through the final sector. And out of the final turn, Giancarlo heads for victory lane in another dominant sweep. He will win at Road America. Max Gunther heading up the hill will finish in second. And Adam Barker out of the final turn will finish third. The exact same finishing order as race one. Adam, congratulations. A great flip there.
Really interesting race. Well, not very interesting just at the end, but a good start to the race. I was hoping I could try and get past Mike, and he'd hold up the rest of the crew a little bit, so I could get away and escape. But it wasn't to be. We touched a little bit, and he ended up in the wall. So it was a big shame, and then Giancarlo just walked away from it with it.
Well, still another great points morning. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Barker comes home in third. Max Gunther comes home in second. Max, 2 races, 2 podiums. You got to be pleased.
Yeah, I'm pleased. Especially since I finished before Adam and Simon. So the points definitely swung my way. But it's great.
With 2 races left to go, can you pick up a lot more points and make your way to the top?
I don't know, but we'll see. 2 more races. Hockenheim and I don't know the last one.
Algarve.
Yeah, maybe Hockenheim. Algarve, I didn't drive that much. But let's see. That's gonna be fun.
Well, congratulations. Looking forward to next week, buddy.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks.
And finally, our winner, Giancarlo, another Sunday and another dominant performance.
Yeah, I got kind of lucky there that Adam and the Minister of Defense got tangled up because it's always it's hard to pass him.
Definitely is hard to pass him. It did kind of go in your favor, but conversely, we think back to last year when you lost it in turn 1 and still, after a 20-second deficit, came back to win by over 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's different times. Every race is different, so who knows how it could have gone this time.
Well, you definitely checked out from the field. It was a really, really awesome performance. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Giancarlo pulls off the win. Don't forget to come back tonight, 7:30 Eastern, for the BRR Cup Series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.